AskReddit asks, what is an essential, not so obvious skill in life?
Knowing when to shut up. Edit. Oh my gosh. Didn't think this comment would get so much love. Thank you guys for all the silver and gold. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark.
I heard it phrased as, never miss a golden opportunity to shut the fuck up.
I go through cycles of having a thing that I'm interested in all the time. And if the conversation is even loosely related, I'll find a way to shoehorn it in and take everyone on an educational tangent ride that they didn't sign up for. Much like this, https imager.com/gallery/9dsrdg3 closing parenthesis.
Holy shit, the irony with your edit.
Just being reliable. It's amazing how far you can get professionally and in relationships by being the person people feel like they can genuinely depend on. So many are flakes.
I moved in with my roommates after hanging out only a couple of times. When we sat down to talk living styles and logistics, they said one of the biggest reasons they felt secure in living with me was that each time we hung out, I arrived when I said I would. And the one time I was running late, I texted to tell them how much longer I would be, and then was there at that time.
Being gracious when someone is better than you at your thing.
This is really difficult, but yes.
To be able to read the room you were in. Edit. Wow, this blew up, comma, thanks for the silver and the gold, strangers. I really appreciate it. D.
My SO's very socially awkward nephew proceeded to tell a Ligma joke to a room full of family. When no one got it, he proceeded to explain what Ligma was. Did not pick up on the fact that he was in a room full of mostly non-internet speak people and plowed through anyway even when the cringe was evident. It was excruciating. This sounds important, but I don't know what it means.
Knowing how to pick your battles. Some fights just aren't worth having. Either because the reward isn't worth the effort, or you can't win, even when you're 100% right. Sometimes you need to take less than what you want and move forward from there.
Knowing how to fail. By that I mean failing, and not letting it break you, or throwing a tantrum. Also, knowing that failing at something doesn't make you a failure, if that makes sense.
Highly underrated ability here. I see college kids all the time who live in fear of failing and who go to pieces when it inevitably happens.
Or at the very least throwing your tantrum in private. Getting up, brushing yourself off and figure out what your next move's gonna be and how to prevent that same failure next time, haha.
Allowing yourself to say, I don't know, and I've changed my mind, rather than either making things up that you hope are right or doggedly defending a position in the face of changing evidence. Edit. I would also add that another related skill in life is being able to accept both of those phrases when another says them to you. Edit 2. By the way, I first heard it phrased this precise way in a song called Get It Right by Frank Turner. Felt like giving credit where it's due.
Frank Turner is the shit.
If evidence changes, so can my opinion.
Admit when you're wrong. Take responsibility for your actions and apologize, if necessary.
Especially at work. This will get you so far. This is the thing that makes up people's minds about you. You will almost always be favored if you own up to a mistake. Apologize for making it, and ask how to prevent it from happening again. We just cut a guy from training because he refused to take responsibility for any mistake that he made. Which we would have been fine with considering he was in training and mistakes happen when you're new.
Relaxing in traffic. It's going to happen. You're going to be stuck in traffic. Honking and flailing and freaking out and changing lanes 6 times to get 1 or 2 car lengths ahead doesn't help anything. Learn how to patiently wait. I listen to audiobooks and actually look forward to my commute home.
I also listen to audiobooks in the car. Being more relaxed has made me a better driver, and my partner likes to hear about what happened next when I get home. You aren't stuck on traffic. You are traffic. Realizing this reduced my impatience.
Having a sense of humor. I find it useful for when things go terribly wrong and or ironically wrong.
I'm pretty convinced that there are some people who just fully lack a sense of humor. Like it's a congenital defect or something. Like being born with a tail or extra fingers. I'm not an expert, but it's really the only thing I can think of to explain these people. They're the sort who laugh with the laugh tracks on sitcoms, but don't really understand why they're laughing.
Admitting a mistake.
Admit it immediately and people tend to forget you ever made it. Try to hide it, deny it, or argue it and people will never let you forget it.
Active listening.
Can you please tell me more about that? Edit. I was trying to show a way you could help someone expand and elaborate on a subject. But thank you all for telling me more about active listening.
Knowing when and how to ask for help at it. My first Reddit silver. Everyone needs help at some point. Edit. Since we are here in AskReddit, I wonder, can you receive gold and silver for the same comment? Edit. Yes. Yes you can and it's so very beautiful. Thank you kind strangers. Edit. My first platinum too? I haven't even had my coffee yet. Edit. Can somebody please help me? I can't stop editing my post and causing cancer. Tack. If a message needs to be transmitted, but you piss someone off with how you do it, they're no longer listening to what you say, just how you're saying it. As a lifelong 40-year-old blunt speaker, I still struggle with this. My entire professional career has been military and law enforcement, which are two professions that are slightly accommodating of this. But I still have to talk to myself in my head before I open my mouth in mixed company. I learned this from Craig Ferguson. Less of a skill and more of a realization. Does this have to be said? Does this have to be said by me? Does this have to be said by me now? Try to follow that rule and you'll avoid many pointless fights, soured friendships and blank stares. Edit. Jesus skateboarding Christ. I just woke up and it seems my little comment gathered a few more replies than I was expecting. Thank you for the gold. Kind internet strangers.
Knowing how to cook. It's not very feasible to live off of instant food and eating out can be expensive. It can also lead to a healthier lifestyle and you have more control over what goes into your meals.
I personally believe cooking for yourself is the healthiest change you can make.
Very true. And it's not like you have to be some master chef. Learn a few dishes and you'll pick up technique along the way that can translate to so many more. Before you know it, you're looking forward to your time in the kitchen and cranking out some really decent homemade meals.
Recognizing unspoken social cues in a group. Basically knowing not to say or do something because it would be frowned upon in the current setting.
This is what many of the complaints against political correctness fail to grasp. So you mean I can never tell an edgy joke or tell a woman she's pretty? In the right context, go hard. But you shouldn't do those things without first reading the room. And if you do fail to read the room or do it incorrectly, then you should be open to the backlash.
Being okay with being alone. Edit. I did not think this would get so many responses. And to add, thank you for the gold and silver kind Redditors. To add to my initial statement, being alone is one of the most important life skills you can ever have. Because when you surround yourself with people constantly, jump from one relationship to another, it's easy to lose yourself trying to please or fix someone else. When you are alone, you start to understand yourself more. Start doing things you enjoy as there is no one else to please. Laugh a little harder at movies because there is no judgment. And you really tap into parts of you that make you understand that pleasing someone else at your own expense is not worth it at all. Does it get lonely? Absolutely. But when you are willing to move away from the comfort zone of solitude and spend time with people or make an effort in a relationship, you know it's real. Because there is nothing those people can give you that you don't give yourself already. Edit 2. Thanks for the cake day wishes everyone.
Being assertive, and not passive-aggressive, aggressive or just passive. Also being open-minded is a good one to have.
Can you elaborate on the being assertive, and not passive-aggressive, aggressive or just passive thing? Not gonna lie, I have the hardest time with this one. I'm either very meek or very unnecessarily angry. Going even a little deeper than that. Learning how insignificant most things are. The death of a loved one. Some upending life event. Sure, that takes time and energy and active attention to process and move past, live with. But some of the stuff that we let affect us on a daily, weekly and monthly basis, ends up just being no more than a blip on the radar in 3 years. And something you don't remember past 10. Stuff going on at work. Argument with a friend or siblings. Car accident, etc. We let this stuff steal valuable time and energy from us when it's hardly something we'll think about in a few years. In the moment, in the present, it's difficult to view these things as what they are. But you can train yourself to respond to, oh my god, everything's fucked up! Exclamation mark, question mark, quote question mark, exclamation mark, with, yeah, but does it really matter? I usually do this by asking myself, what is the absolute worst case scenario here? The answer to this usually is not half as bad as your brain tricks you into feeling. It just takes consistency and practice. It will save years of life in stress and preserve relationships. And allow you to be more content. Super valuable skill, not something we talked about enough.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day, you marvelous people.